Hey guys, what's going on? It's Blade again from Car Audio Security, and today, if you can see me behind this massive box, we've got a new head unit reveal. So this is a brand new unit from Pioneer, as you can see. This is an SPH EVO950DAB. Okay, so SPH EVO950DAB, what do we have here? So this is a brand new unit from Pioneer, as I've said. This is a 9-inch capacitive floating screen. So they've brought out a few floating screens in the past. This is their latest version of that. This is a single DIN chassis floating screen with many functions such as wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, fast charging for Android phones, capacitive touchscreen, and many other features. So let's get inside the box. We'll show you the components that come inside and then we'll get it turned on. Okay, so here is everything that you get inside the box. It is quite a lot, I'll be honest. This is the first time me opening this, so we'll quickly go through it. We'll show you what everything does, and then we'll put the unit together from there. But before I go any further, I just want to explain what a floating screen is, you may be wondering. So essentially what a floating screen is, it shows itself in its name really. It's a screen that essentially looks like it's floating once it's fitted. So basically you'll have a body and then the screen. So the body will sit inside your dash and the screen will be exterior. So it's not flush fitted like most of the other units, the 7-inch screens and stuff like that. It actually floats and then it's fixed at that point. So what do we have in front of me? So first of all, we have your instruction manuals. Now, as I always say, it's very important to read through these. If you get stuck or you're not sure how to put the unit together, it's all going to be in here. You've got instructions on how to mount the body to the face. The rest of the instructions are there as well. Next, we have this. So this is your GPS antenna. So that's going to be plugged into the back of the unit and then popped on your dash or on the top of the unit. And that's going to be allowing the wireless CarPlay and Android Auto maps essentially working correctly. This here is a trim, basically for once this is fitted, just to finish that off nicely. This is going to be the bracket that holds the stereo screen to the body itself. So that's going to be mounted in there. I'll show you that in a second. You have some more bracketry here. Again, it's going to be mounted to the side along with a bag of screws. Other components you have, Pioneer like to run their RCAs and other connections on an extension wire. A lot of these units will have this directly, so all of these connections here. This will be directly on the back of the unit, but because this is only single DIN chassis, you've not really got a lot of space on the back, so they've used this fly wire, so that will be plugged into the back of the unit and then you can plug all the pre-outs. So this will have a front, rear and subwoofer output to connect your amplifiers, as well as your cameras. That'll all be plugged into there. Here you have the USB. So this is a USB extension. This is a USB A, normal USB connection to plug from the back of the unit to go around to your glove box. This here is your microphone. So standard microphones can be plugged into the back of the unit again, and then plugged up to your sun visor or headlining or onto your dash, wherever you want to fit it. That way someone on a phone call can hear you. Wiring harness, so this is essentially main harness for the stereo. This end will be plugged into the back of the stereo, and then that will be plugged into either the adapter for your vehicle or directly to the vehicle harness, depending on what car it's going in. The last two parts are the main parts of the unit. You have the body of the stereo, which we'll go through in a second, and then you have the screen. Okay, so we're going to put the unit together now, so I'm going to go step by step with you to put the unit together. So a couple of things you're going to need. You're going to need a normal Phillips head screwdriver, just a medium size. That's going to be mounting most of the brackets together. And you'll also need an Allen key to put the main brackets together. So if we go through the instructions, the first step on the instruction manual here is to essentially put these brackets together. So we're going to quickly do that now. So we tip this out. We have a bracket that looks like that, and we have a bracket that looks like that. And then you have a bag of the Allen key screws. These are the only screws that are Allen keys, as I can see. So before you mount this to the body of the stereo, you'll need to quickly grab your trim, slide this over the body of the stereo. I'm going to assume it is, clips back. So grab this, slide this over, like so. sits roughly there. And then you pop the stereo on its side. So you need to make sure that the brackets labeled L and R are put on the correct side. So left and right is as it's facing you. So you need to make sure that the power connection is on the bottom of the back of the stereo and not on the top like that. So as long as it's on the bottom, as it's looking at you, you know that to me is my left side. So this is your left, that's your right. So we're going to be putting the left side bracket on here. And it tells you drop that there. And you mount the screws in. So let's grab our screws. Two screws for either side. And just to show you, it's going to be mounted like that. Okay, so once you've got those screws in, make sure you don't over tighten them because you do not want to strip these threads. So once it's in, it's going to be looking like this. So you want these brackets basically to line up with just the beveled edge of this side. Same with that side. Once those are in, you're all good to go to the next step. So I think what you probably want to do is just pop this clip back over, and then you'll see that will sit quite nicely over there. So we want to slide this over here until it locks. There we go, it's locked. Trim is on. Once you've mounted the cage together, you're going to need to use these two parts. So these, basically this is the bracket that will hold the screen to the body, and this is essentially just a spacer to space this out from there. So what you want to do is flip the body of the stereo up. Remember that this is the top, this is the bottom. So you'll see on this plastic spacer, you've got two little teeth. So those teeth are only going to slot into the top here where you have the two slots. So this is going to go around this way, and it's got a little notch for the wires to go through. So you push that through, locate it, and that's there. And then you'll do the same thing with this, but it goes the opposite way because your teeth are on this end and they slot into here. So that will go like this. And then you're going to grab the 4 long screws and screw them in. All right, so once that is done, you can push that to the side. Then you're going to grab your screen. So on the back of the screen, you'll have this plastic trim on there that says Pioneer on the top. If you push that upwards, that will come off. Save that there for later. Now what you're going to do is put the white plug in first because it's a bit fiddly. So you've got a white notch on the top of that plug. That's going to be going into the top. That'll click into place nicely. And then your blue plug will plug in afterwards. You can do it the other way, but it's a bit more fiddly. Once that's in, you can just tidy your wires around down here. And then this should nicely sit on top. Like that. Now you'll see, the camera can see it, there's 2 little screw holes that will go through into the mount, and then you're going to be using these screws here with the blue tops on them to screw that in. There's 4 holes, so we'll get those screwed in now. So once that's done, you can then get your plastic Pioneer cover, drop that over it. So that is essentially it. You've got that together now. So then you can plug your power plug into the back and get it turned on. But whilst we're here, let's have a look at the physical features of the unit. Up the front, as I've said, this is a 9-inch capacitive touchscreen. So capacitive means essentially it's very, very touch responsive and good quality, almost like you'll have on your phone. Basically, what they would used to use was a resistive touchscreen, which is touch responsiveness was okay, but not too bad. These new units have capacitive screens. As you can see, the unit will protrude slightly. So this is basically where it will sit flush in the dash, and that's where the screen will sit. And as I've said, this can be moved back up or back down, but you will have to pop this back off and then adjust it through the screws. The back of the unit, you've got a few connections. We'll quickly go through those. You have your GPS connection, USB extension connection, main loom connection here, fan to keep it nice and cool, long plug for your RCA outputs, that extension that I showed you at the start, FM and AM antenna input, DAB antenna input, and microphone input. So let's get this unit powered on and we'll go through the features. So I've got my trusty power connection here. I'm going to count down from 3 and then plug it in so you can see the startup time from completely off. So here we go, 3, 2, 1, plug. There we go, it's on. So not too bad startup time. Okay, so as you saw, there was a warning message on the screen there. That will come up every time you turn the unit on. It just has to warn you about, because of the fact it's a multimedia screen, you're not supposed to use it whilst you're driving, but this is the main home screen you'll come to. So at the moment it's pretty blank, it's because we've got nothing connected, but I'll quickly show you what all of this does. So down the bottom here, you've got your usual quick app connections. So we've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, digital radio, normal FM and AM radio, Bluetooth audio, and phone Bluetooth. Up the top here, you have your widgets. So this is going to be essentially your source. So if you click on that, there's no source playing at the moment. If you click on there, you've got drop down for the sources that you've got available. So if we put it on radio, for instance, you've got your AM and FM radio, they're ready to go. So normal radio circumstances, you'd find a station, and then you can press and hold, and then it will save that station as preset 1. Preset 2, preset 3, you've got 6 presets there. FM 1, 2, and 3, and then medium wave is there as well. If you want to go back from here, back to the home screen, it's this button, and then that's on the home screen. Up here is going to be your time and date. If you click on that, you can set all the time and date settings. And then down here is the weather app. Now it needs to be connected to your phone to allow that to work. So you've got all of those connections there. If we swipe back over, we'll come back to the home screen. If you swipe up from the bottom, like that, it's going to show you your favorites. So if you've set any favorite apps, you can go into them quickly there. And then if you swipe from the left, it shows you any notifications you've got. Now, if I want to pair my phone quickly, let's grab my phone. Let's get that paired up quickly. So, go into my Bluetooth settings. We scroll over and go into settings. We'll go into connections. There we go, it's found it already. Blade S22 Ultra. So it's going to want to pair with this. There we go, so pair. Yes. And we're all paired. We're going to allow contact sync, and then it's going to jump into Android Auto. So as I mentioned, this is wireless Android Auto, this device, as well as wireless Apple CarPlay. So the Android Auto looks quite amazing on this because it's a nice big screen. Even in the split screen setup, you can see the majority of the map and then still have your music and other communications on the right-hand side. And then if you click down here, you've got all of the available apps you can use on Android Auto. So if you go into your normal Android Auto screen, you press this little button here. It does the Android Auto and part of the actual stereo itself. So you can select a different source, Bluetooth audio for instance, but still have the Android Auto playing. So this is what I think this is one of the first units that got this feature. I think it's quite handy if you needed to do something else at the same time. But yeah, this is quite nice. So you've got your volume up and down over this side, up and down, and then this is your voice control. So if you tap that and you're connected to Android Auto, it's going to bring Android Auto back up, but also use Google. So if we just tap it, it's basically like you said, hey Google, and then you can speak into it and it's going to direct you to wherever you need to go, answer any questions you need. So let's quickly show you the Apple CarPlay side of things, and then we'll wrap it up from there. Okay, so we're going to show you how to connect the Apple CarPlay wirelessly with this unit. So again, if we go into settings, go down to connections, connection, there we go, so it's found it straight away. It's very quick, this unit with the Bluetooth, so that's quite handy. So we'll connect, so there we go, pair, yes, allow, So use CarPlay. There we go. So this is another unit. Please attach the GPS antenna in order to connect for Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. So we're going to do that quickly now. Okay, so now that we've connected that GPS antenna, our Apple CarPlay is working. So as you can see, it's on Waze at the moment. You can go to your normal CarPlay list. You've got the split screen set up and then the different applications. As you can see, very touch responsive. That capacitive touch screen makes a big difference. So earlier when we looked at the Android Auto, we had the option to turn on Android Auto split screen. Now this does actually work for CarPlay as well. See up here, you've got the little arrows pointing inwards. You've got that split screen option there as well. So that's a nice feature. But other than that, I think this is a very, very good unit. Once it's all together, it's very simple to use. I will be honest, the initial putting the unit together is a little bit complicated. You need to follow the instructions on that small sheet and in the booklet. But once it's all together, it's pretty easy to use the functionality of the unit, and I think this will be a very popular setup. Okay, so that was the overview of the brand new Pioneer EVO950DAB. Like I said, it's very, very nice unit to use, very touch responsive, slick, good quality. The only qualm I would say about it is just mounting it together, but once that's done, it's nice and easy. So in the English section, here is how you would put the screws and the brackets and everything onto the actual screen and mount it to the body. So it is all there, just obviously don't get lost. But yeah, fantastic unit. Very good price point as well, I think, for the wireless capabilities. The price is $629.99. This is probably one of the best priced wireless CarPlay units and Android Auto that are floating screens on the market right now. So I'd try and get your hands on one soon because they're probably not going to hang around for long. But that's been it from me. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Make sure you give us a like, share it to your mates and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.